So, as you know, we have about 3 sessions today. So maybe we'll start with the first session now. And the session is about modeling of dynamic systems. So I'm going to do some practical demonstrations during the class. So it will be interesting that way. So you are able to see clearly, right, what I am writing on the screen. So I suggest that you make your full screen this thing so that you will be able to easily see this. Okay. So the idea is that now because of this pandemic, we are all going into online teaching. So let us make the online teaching as interactive as possible. So for that, instead of just showing slides, you should start showing some live demonstrations so that it will be interesting. So just to, I believe most of you are from electrical engineering background. So just to start today's discussion, I would like to start with one small demo. Okay, so I'm for dynamic system. I'll be using something like a jar of water. Okay, so I'll show you. So if you see, I have just a regular bottle I'm having here. Okay, so it is having 10 centimeters height. So I have marked the height here on this. I think you can see. And at the bottom, there is a small hole here. So I think again that hole also you are able to see. So what happens if I fill this particular jar with water, and if I uncover this hole, then the water will start falling from this. Okay, so that is what I'm going to show you now. So let's say there is water in this. And then there is a small hole here. So from that, the water is losing. And the height of this, normally I represent it with h. Okay. So if I represent the height with h, just a minute. So if I represent the height with h, then the h will be actually h of t. So because height will change with the time. Okay, so it's a function of time. And the initial height is h naught. And then slowly the water will flow out. And finally, the h of t will become 0 when all the water leaves the particular jar. Now, area of cross section is A. Okay. So at any time, the volume of water, W, can be represented as A into H. So any doubt here? So W is the volume of water. So this is in centimeter cube, and area is centimeter square, and H is in centimeters. So both sides the units are also matching. So any doubt up till here? Feel free to ask your doubt. So now what we want to do is that first equation I want to differentiate. So then dW by dt will be equal to A into dH by dt. It's a simple derivation on both sides will be like this. Yes, again, I hope you have all done this many times before. So you know what this is. Okay. Now why A is not differentiated is because A is constant. Because I am using a cylindrical jar, the area of cross section is constant. So A is constant, whereas H is variable, and here W is variable. Okay. Now here we need to use our physics understanding here. Okay. So what I am saying is, when H's value is more, that means more water is there here. At the time, the pressure will be more, and the output flow will be more. And as H is reducing slowly, this pressure also will be reducing, and the amount of flow of water will also be reducing. So that is what I am expecting to see. Okay? So I will say that rate of change of height dh is proportional to h itself. That means if more height is there, then more water will flow, and if less height is there, then less water will flow. In fact, to be accurate, I should put a minus sign here, because the dh by dt is negative. That means that it is height is reducing. Okay? So that's why I put the negative sign. So again, any doubt up till here? So the first one is simple, W equal to AH, differentiated both sides. But then here, after using our physics knowledge, I have put minus H. So from this, I can write dH by dt is equal to minus H by A. And I will multiply by K. So K is a constant. Okay? So what I have done is this proportionality I removed, and then I have put a constant. Okay? So finally now I am getting an equation dH by dt is minus H by AK. Now, but I want to solve for the H. Okay? So for solving, simply assume something. So assume that h of t is nothing but some initial height h naught e to the power of minus t by ak. So this is just assumption. Okay? Now I want to verify whether this assumption is correct or not. Okay? So how to verify? Simply differentiate it. dH by dt is equal to, so h naught is constant, so it will be like this. Derivation of e to the power of x will be same, e to the power of x, so it is same. Now derivation of t by this one, so that will be coming in the denominator minus ak. So this is the simple derivation of the numerator. Okay? Sorry, this is dt. Now, if you look at the numerator, it is exactly same as this one. Okay? So the h can be substituted here easily. So I get dH by dt is nothing but h by ak with a minus sign. So if you notice what we have here, this is exactly same. Okay? So that means our assumption is correct. So our assumption that this is the formula for h. So this is the correct solution. So now the thing is, I have to determine the value of A and K, and I have to determine the value of H naught. Now H naught is what? Initial, when t equal to 0, whatever is the height, that is H naught, that is the initial height. Okay? So when I am using this water in this, whatever I keep the initial height, that I know. Now A is the area of cross section, I can measure it, and K is the constant which depends on this particular size of this hole. Okay, so if the hole is size is changing, then the K value will be changing. So we have completed just a simple mathematical part of it. Now I can do experiment and determine whether really whatever I am getting the mathematical part, that is matching with the experiment part also. Okay, so that is our next job. Okay? So again, I will pause for a minute. Anybody having any doubt, please feel free to ask your doubt. Just to confirm, you are able to hear my voice properly, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now what is the experiment we will do? So the experiment we will do is, I'll measure time. Okay, so time, let me take in the steps of 30 seconds. Okay, so 30 seconds. Then, in fact, I start with 0 seconds, time t equal to 0. Then 30 seconds. Then 1 minute. Then 1 minute 30 seconds. Then 2 minutes. In fact, I'm sorry, let me take a fresh page so that we can write it neatly. So I go with time 0, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1:30, 2 minutes, 2:30. So how much time do you think this bottle will be taking to empty? So I'm going all the way up to 4:30, 5, 5:30, 6, 6:37. Okay, so I hope it will not take that much time, but I'm taking like this. And then here I will write the height. So H. So H is the height of this water. So here again you can see 0 to 10 centimeters. So I may start with, okay, I will start with 10 centimeters. And then every 30 seconds, what is the height I want to find out. Okay, so let's do that. So now how do we do? So I will use two jars. So this is the another jar. So this one does not have any hole under this. So this is just for collection of water. So what I will do is first I will keep this on the top, and then when the water falls from the first one, it goes into the second one. So that is the plan. Okay, so let me reposition my camera, and then we can work on this. I'll just remove this wire, it's distracting. So here you can see the two bottles. Okay. Again, if you are finding any doubt or anything, please stop me anytime and you can ask your question, and later we can continue. Okay. So I think I can move this a little bit. Okay, so now to record the readings, I will utilize a pad. Okay, so I'm keeping this behind this. And this one anyway, I'll keep it here. Next, we also need to know the time, right? So for recording time, I need a timer. So let me again use my phone, and I'll start the timer in my phone. Okay. So it is like this. So I can keep the timer, and then I can start the time, and you will be able to see the time on your screen. Right? But anyway, I will reset the timer. So now the experiment is all set up. So I will fill the top glass, and then I will leave it here. And as the water is coming down, we can see the measurement and we can take the reading. So let's do that here. So I'm getting some water on this. Okay, so I have some colored water like this, so that it will be easy to see, and I will reset the timer, and then I will leave it here. And this is slightly more than 10 centimeters. So whenever it is 10 centimeters at the time, I will start the timer. Okay. Now you can see the water started flowing. Now it is touching 10 centimeters. I will start the timer. So I believe you can also hear the sound also. So now we will see after 30 seconds what is the height. Okay. So at 15 seconds it is sorry, it is now 9. So 29, 30 seconds, and height was 8.25. Okay, so here I'll write 8.25. Okay. So again, we'll wait for 1 minute time. $50 seconds is the time now. So now the time is 1 minute and the height is 6.5. Okay, so I'm noting down the height. So let's wait for 1.5 minutes. $27, $28, $29, and 1.5 minutes, and the height is exactly 5. Okay, so let's wait for 2 minutes again. Yes, so the height is about 3.8 or 3.75, I'll give it. Okay. So normally I do this experiment in the classroom with all the help of students and all, but it can still be done on video. So there's no problem. The same thing we can do it. So we are now waiting for 2.5 minutes. Okay, so now time is 2.5 minutes and the height is 2.75. So I think it is worth spending maybe 3-4 more minutes so that we get complete a proper experiment. Okay. So 256, 258, 3 minutes, and the height is exactly about 2. So 323, 324, 3.5 minutes, and the height is 1.25. Okay. So let's wait for 4 minutes. Four minutes, and the height is okay. So 0.7. So we can also notice that initially the water flow was more. As the H is reducing, the water flow is also reducing. So the assumption that we made was also correct. Okay, now it is 4.5, so about 0.25. So I think by 5 minutes the height will become 0. So let's wait for that. Okay, so the time is 5 minutes and height almost touch 0. So in fact, below 0 also there is some water left because of the shape of the bottle, but it's right now we don't concern about that. So finally we completed the first set of readings. So I hope again you understood what is going on here, what is the work we have done in analyzing a small dynamic system. We have written an equation and we have done the readings also we have taken. Okay. So what is the next step? Can you suggest? Any observations, any questions until here? Okay, so since we have collected the data, so the next step would be to plot the data and see how it works. Okay, so let us do the plotting of the data. Okay. So I'll keep the data here. Okay. And I'll just briefly share my screen so that you can, in fact, here I will share the screen. Okay, I have two options. Now, what I want to do is plot this data. Okay, so let us see whether we will be able to plot this data. So for plotting this data, I am using Google Sheets. So let me open Google Sheets. And I'll increase the magnification. So the same, whatever we have done before, I'll just enter it in the sheet. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so if you recollect the readings before, the readings are like this. So time is 0. So time I keep in seconds, okay? So this will be 30 and then this will be plus 30 and I can keep on increasing this. And then height, okay? So it started off with 10, then 8.25. 8.25, okay, then it was 6.5, then 5, then 3.75, 2.75, 2, 1.25, 0.7, 0.25, and finally 0. Okay, so after 5 minutes, the height became 0. So now if I want to plot this thing, so it is very simple. First, let me align this. So time versus height. So I simply go for insert and a chart. So by default a chart is coming. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit. So this is what you can see here. So this is experimentally experimentally obtained. Okay, so let's. So let me. I want to show the data points. Okay, so series and point. So point size. Okay. So even we are able to plot the data points. Okay. So now, if you remember, sometime back we have written an equation also. Okay. So whether that equation is giving the same result or not, let us try. Okay. So what was the equation? So if I again if you look at the other video camera, so the equation is something like this, which is dH by dt equal to minus h by ak. So let me, otherwise I'll just write it here. So I move it like this, and then I go to the top, and then this one is experimental. So I'll write exp, and then height I give a formula that is calculated, CALC. Now the initial height will be anyway 10. So the next height will be 10 multiplied by exp, exponent of minus h. So whatever was the previous height, sorry, minus t divided by ak. So that ak is a constant. For the time being, I will just take 100 as the constant. So let us see whether that one will match. So different, because we don't know the constant, we have to try with different values. So I think I'll try with 150. Apparently looks like. Okay, so let's plot and see. So I go to this, and then I'll change the plot parameters. Data range. I will add C column also. Otherwise, let me draw a fresh plot. Yes, so now I'm getting the fresh plot. Okay, so these two are not exactly matching. That is because of the choice of our constant. So by properly choosing the constant, we can make them match. So let me just slightly adjust this. So instead of 150, let me take some higher value, 200 maybe, or I'll take lesser value, just only 100. So a little bit of cheating we are doing for the data. So this one more or less is kind of matching. So the value of AK, if I take 100, so it is more or less matching. So basically what we conclude from this section of the session is that I can do a small experiment, and I can do a small model, write an equation, and I can match the experimental results with the measured results. Okay? So this is very important skill. So it just took about half an hour to do all these things, but this skill is very important. Every engineer should know it. Not only electrical engineer, any engineer should know about this particular thing. So I will be going for one more example shortly, but before that, any questions, any doubts on this, please feel free to ask. So far, any observations like this? So we have a good number. I mean, closely 70 people are there. So it would be nice if you can interact. You can ask some questions on this before I go to the second example. Yeah. So if there are no questions, I'll just continue. See, sometime back we have done this, right? So now let me again. So again, you are able to see the notes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let me go with the next one more example, which will be very familiar to you. So this example that we have taken is from, maybe you can say it is mechanical because we are using water and all these things. But since you are in electrical, so let's take an electrical example. Okay? So the electrical example will be something like this. So let's say modeling of RC circuit. Okay? So simple RC circuit. Okay? So first thing is, you know that if you have a capacitor, okay? So this is a capacitor, and it is initially charged. Okay? So initially charged capacitor. So let's say V0 is the initial charge, okay? And it is connected to a resistance. So after initially charging the capacitor, it is simply connected to a resistance. Then simply current will start flowing, and then the capacitor charge will be completely dissipated into the resistance. Okay. Now let's write some equations. Okay. You know that for any capacitor, Q equal to CV. So charge is nothing but capacitance. This one famous, all electrical textbooks, this will be there. Okay. So let me refer to my notes. Okay. So now what I will do, I will differentiate both sides. dq by dt equal to C into dV by dt. So why it is like this? Because C is a constant. The capacitance will be depending on the plate distance and plate area and dielectric, etc. So C is constant. Therefore, the rate of change of charge is nothing but it will be change in the voltage. Okay. So you can also represent I equal to. Okay. So what is the charge per time? So charge by time will be current. Okay. So that way. Now here again, what I will do, the current will be proportional to voltage. Why? See, whatever is the voltage here. Okay. So the right now this one is initial voltage. Okay. So V equal to V naught at t equal to 0. So whatever is the voltage, because the resistance is there, V equal to IR, the current and so by simple Ohm's law, the current is nothing but V by R. Okay, so and it will have a minus sign because if the current is leaving, then the voltage will be reducing. Okay, so that way. So this is plus minus. So now from this we can write dV by dt equal to minus V by RC. Okay. So we got this equation. Okay. So if you compare with the earlier one, okay, so we got dH by dt is minus H by AK, where A is the area and K is that size of that hole. So here R is the representing that hole and C is representing the area. So now how to solve this? So again you start with assumption. Okay, so assume that V equal to V naught into e to the power of minus T by RC. Okay, so this again for electrical engineers, this is a more well-known, sorry, camera keeps shaking. Okay, so now dV by dt is nothing but it will be same V naught e to the power of minus T by RC divided by minus RC, which is in turn nothing but minus V by RC. So therefore, we can conclude that V is nothing but this one. This is the correct assumption. So now I have the dynamical system here and I have the equation also here. Okay, so what is the next step? So I have to model the dynamic system. I have to do the experiment and then finally take the reading. So again, you see exactly the same thing. So the capacitor discharging is nothing but water is going out of a jar. Both are mathematically same. So now to do this experiment, let us take a circuit. Okay? So again, I have prepared a circuit. See, these things are not very costly. Okay? So if you see that water jar which I made, I think each jar is like maybe this is like 40 or 50 rupees. Okay? So and I'm still using this, you know. So now similarly, this circuit also very cheap, just below 100 rupees. You can make this circuit. Okay? So what is this circuit? Let me show this circuit to you. It has two capacitors. Okay? So one capacitor is on the left side and the another capacitor is on the right side. Okay? In between there is a resistance and a switch. Okay? Now if this switch is open, that means the left side part of the circuit is completely out of picture. Only the right side part we can consider. And these two are just the terminals coming out of this thing. So if I show the reverse side, it is just a simple connections. So I have a simple capacitor, 100 microfarads with a terminals like this. So let me draw the diagram. So what I am having is, there is one capacitor here. Then there is a resistance. Then there is a switch which is open. On the other side, I have one more capacitor. So the value I am giving is 100 microfarads. This is also 100 microfarads. And this resistance is 270 kilo ohms. And this is the switch. So this is the same circuit which I am. And then there are two terminals coming out of this thing. So I hope the circuit is very clear. Now what I want to do is, I want to first keep this switch all the time open. So if this switch is open, nothing will come into picture. Only this capacitor I want to work with it. And simply what I will do, connect a voltage source and short circuit this. Okay? So for example, if I take a voltage, okay, so this is the battery. Okay? So again, I hope you are able to see the battery. Now using this battery, if I give some charge, then it will charge the capacitor. So first let us see one small exercise now. I have three batteries. Okay? So you can see. Now which battery I should use? Okay? So all these batteries are from a long time, you know, for years together they are there. So they may lose some power or voltage. So let us measure first. Okay? So I take the voltmeter and I keep it in voltage measurement, DC voltage measurement. And I take the terminals. Okay? So I go towards the first battery and I go for the negative and positive terminals, and then I measure the first battery. Okay? So you can see something like 8 volts it is there. Okay? So I hope you are able to see the voltage. Okay? The second, actually it is a 9 volt battery, but because it is being there for a long time, it reduced to 8 volts. Okay? Another one also, let me check. So the measurement of voltage again. So this is negative side and this is positive side. 6.5. So this battery is little weak compared to this battery. 6.5, I will remove it. Then the last battery, let's see. This is even worse. 4.5, something like that. Okay? So this battery also weak. So among the three batteries available, this battery having 8 volts, 8 point something volts. So I will use this one. So okay. So now what I will do, I want to charge the capacitor. Okay. So before charging, let me measure the capacitance, how much voltage it is having. So I am measuring the voltage of the capacitor. Okay. So it is showing 0 volts, exactly 0. That means capacitor is completely uncharged. Okay. So now to charge this capacitor, I simply take both the terminals, Make sure that positive side is going to positive and negative is going to negative, and no short circuit. So I'm just connecting like this, and the capacitor is now charged. Why capacitor charge so quickly? Because there's no resistance. Just if I touch it immediately, it will charge. So I will verify whether the capacitor charged. So now you can see this thing. Negative side I connected. Now positive side I'll connect. So 6, 7 something it is showing. I'm sorry. So 7. Okay, so already it lost one volt. It already lost, but anyway, the starting voltage is now 7 volts. Okay. So now what I can do, I can repeat the experiment. Now I have the fully charged capacitor. Now and I have the terminals. Now if I connect a voltmeter here, so I'm just drawing the circuit here. If I connect a voltmeter V. Now the voltmeter itself will have internal resistance. Okay, so the internal resistance of this voltmeter is just a 200 rupees voltmeter. So the internal resistance is 1 mega ohm. Okay. So because 1 mega ohm internal resistance is there, it will consume some current, and there will be a current flow like this through the meter, and the capacitor will keep on getting discharged. So I will want to draw the table again. So something like this. Okay. So time and then the capacitor voltage. So time will be 0, 30 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 2:30, 3 minutes, 3:30, 4 minutes, 4:30, 5, 5:30, 6 and 6:30. So basically we will repeat the same experiment, but this time with the electrical circuit. Okay, so what is the voltage? Okay, so just to be sure, let me once again charge it completely. So make sure that positive side and negative side are now I want to measure the time also, so I'll keep the circuit at the top, and I'll keep the timer here. Okay, so this is my timer. And these are my connections. Okay, so I think I have to be careful with the connections. So the wires are coming like this. Okay, so I hope you're all ready. So the moment I connect it, I will start the timer. Okay, so that, and I'll quickly look at the whatever is the voltage. So 7.2 was the initial voltage. So initial voltage was 7.2. Now we'll wait for 30 seconds. So 20 seconds, 21, 22. Every 30 seconds, I will record the voltage. See, now what you are seeing is simply the meter is discharging. Okay, so 29, 30 seconds, 5.74. Okay, so now 39, 40. So with the next reading, oh, by the way, I skipped one reading here. So this is 1 minute. Next reading will be at 1 minute. So at 1 minute, 4.45. Okay, so next reading, let us take at 1.5 minutes. So again, this is very easy. This is not at all difficult, very easy. Simply you can do this. The materials are very cheap and it can be done easily. So 1.5 minute, 3.44. Okay, so I'm just writing down the readings. So by the way, I mentioned 100 microfarads and 1 mega ohm. Okay, so the micro and mega will cancel. If you see RC time constant, then 100 seconds will be your time constant. Okay, so just for those who are wondering, let's wait for 2 minutes now. 58, 59, 2 minutes, 2.67. See, unlike the water experiment, here the reading will never go to zero because exponentially it is decaying. So the capacitor will always have some charge until you use short circuit it. Anyway, so 27, 28, 29 and 2.5 minutes, 2.07. So we are getting the readings now. Let's wait until 3 minutes. Yeah, so 1.6. So at 3.5 minutes, 1.24. So let's wait for 1 more minute up till 5 so that we can compare both the readings of the earlier one and this one. Okay, 4 minutes, 0.97. So everything is available in front of you. Just depending on the reading, you can always take a notes. So actually speaking, this is a very simple thing, just one capacitor discharging. So it is nothing great, but it still has a lot of concept. And my idea is that by doing this kind of experiments, even we should encourage students to buy these items and set up a lab at their home, and they can themselves do all these things. So we are just coming to the last reading, that is 5 minutes, and it is 0.58. So even in the last minute, still some charge is remaining, but it is fine. Okay. So I'll leave it here, and next step, as you know, is simply doing the data entry and then plotting it. Okay. So let's try and do that. I'll just take one last reading and leave it. .45. Okay, so now it is not reducing that fast. Anyway, so now let me go back to the sheet, what we were doing before, and I'll move this slightly. Now here, instead of height, we will have voltage. Okay. I'm just editing that. So voltage space EXP through experiment. So voltage to experiment, 7.2 to begin with. So I can type it from here. 5.74, 4.45, 3.44, 2.67, 2.07, 1.6, 1.24, 0.97, 0.75, 0.58, and 0.45. Okay. In fact, I can do a last reading for 7 minutes. I can do one more reading. So this is 420, I think. Okay, the time is 7 minutes and 0.21. Yeah. So now let us plot. Okay. So how do we plot? Again, the same thing. We just copy all this. Insert chart. So you can see things are exactly kind of matching. Only thing is the starting point for the water experiment, we started with 10 centimeters, whereas for the battery, we started with 7.2 volts. So that's why the starting point is at 7.2. The yellow line is the one that we have done. So anyway, I'll just delete the other two series. Let's do one more column and we'll write our equation. So we already know what is the equation. So here we calculated. Here RC time constant is also same. So the starting is 7.2 and time is A3. So RC time constant is 100. So again, I'm getting something like this. So let me plot these two. I'll delete this old plot. Okay, so now you are getting something like this. Customize series. Yeah. So you can see the green and yellow are electrical, whereas the blue and red are water. This thing, and they are more or less matching. Okay, so this is what again comparison between the electrical and mechanical example. Okay. So here we have completed analogy of two for the this thing. Okay. So any questions as of now?
Any question from participants?
I hope you are able to understand, you are able to follow what I am doing this experiment. And it is not very difficult. You can do it on video also. So most of the time there will be misconception that we cannot teach all these kind of things on video, but you can, as I was just showing. Any questions as of now? Okay, so now what I will do, we will just conclude this, just improve our understanding a little bit more by doing just one more example. So the example is like this. It is example related to financial side. Okay, so let me take another pen and I'll write it. Okay. So I have 10 lakh rupees and donate 1% every day. So I don't have 10 lakh rupees. We'll say someone. So someone have 10 lakh rupees and they donate 1% of whatever they have, 1% of whatever they have, they donate every day. Okay? So track the money versus time. Okay? So this is a simple this thing. So if you say M equal to 10 lakh, then what is my donation? 1% of M. Okay? So donation will be dm by dt. Okay? That means in one day how much I am losing. Okay? So that will be this divided by 100. Okay? So minus m by 100. Okay? So again, this is exactly the same formula. Okay? If I am donating 1% of my wealth every day, it is same. Okay? So in this 100 we are getting, see in the earlier example RC time constant was 100. In the previous example AKI constant was 100. Okay? So now in this example, if I'm, see what is 1 by 100? 1 by 100 is 1%. So in other words, we can say if I fill water in this, every 1 second, 1% of water will be lost. So like that this bottle is designed. Okay? So now how do, of course you can always write the equation, but I want to show one more way of writing this. So through Excel calculation we can do it. So again, let me share the Excel sheet. I'm creating a fresh sheet. So here I will say day. Okay. So the day will be day 0, day 1, day 2, like this. Okay. So let's take 1 year. Okay. So if I donate 1% every day, at the end of 1 year, what will be my balance? Okay. So that is my question. Okay. So 1 year means I have to go up to 365. So here I have written out the days, okay, and then let me so here I will say the money M. Okay. So here it is 10 lakh. So here I will say donation, okay, or dm by dt. That is what I am donating. So that will be equal to this multiplied by 0.01 or divided by 100, whatever. 1% I am donating. Okay. And the next day I will have whatever my earlier money minus whatever I donated. So that one I will have. And this formula I will once again repeat for all. So by doing like this, now I can track my wealth until end of the year. Okay? So that is the thing I want to demonstrate here, that you can use Excel in solving this kind of equation. Okay. So let me insert a chart now. So I go for insert chart. So again, you find exactly the same amount of the same kind of chart. Okay. So earlier we did 300 seconds, it almost touched to zero. Now 365 days, it's almost going down like this. So the wealth started with 1 lakh, it reduced to 7.5 lakh, 5 lakh and whatever. Within 100 days, it became around 3 lakh. In fact, you can tell exactly what. See, our time constant is 100. So that 1 by E is 0.367 something, right? So that will be the amount that is there after 100 days. Anyway, that is the more mathematical detail. So again, did you understand now the equation is same. For capacitor discharging, the equation is same. For water leaking from a jar, equation is same. And for donating money also, equation is same. The mathematical common equation is there, but it represents 3 different systems. Okay, so so far what we are doing is differential equation with only 1 variable. Okay, so, but we can also do with 2 variables. Okay. So, but what I propose is, although the first session time is still there, maybe we'll take a 10-15 minute break and then we'll continue with the second session after this. So is that okay? So is that okay? Since the first part I've just completed, so shall we do second session after some time?